Alright, now, with Gorgorov conquered, let's pan over the map and showcase where are we, the regions that we conquered, Kiritungol, Nurnen, and Seregost.
So,
Minas Morgul will have to go for one of the last because it's heavily guarded by the Landsgoose, so, story reasons and everything, blah, 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 blah. Then we have, those are just some minor landmarks. We cannot actually visit Osgiliath and Minas Tirith, but they're just there, for showing. That's pretty cool. Hold on. Here's a cool thing. There you go. That's the Black Gate. This particular minor circle, that was the area, the first area of the first game. Again, the map will be to showcase the scope, how more big it is, and how technically smaller the map of the first game was. Pretty cool, actually.
And Talion is doing this all on foot.
Yeah. And there you go. Talbrand is the region of Nurnen where we were in the first game, So again, it's still the same region, but we visit a different part of that, And instead, this part where we cannot access is Ered Glammoth, which is where the tower resided. If you forgot, we needed a boat to get there. So that makes sense.
They're even showing a picture of him, if I recall correctly, what he looked like.
Just for reference. And now, with this, we turn our attention to Lithlad, the region that got unlocked with the Desolation of Mordor DLC. Other than, just, Baranor being able to visit, we can do it with Talion on his own. And immediately, Celebrimbor has this to say.
This is a forgotten land, and far from Sauron's concern. We will not need to hold Lithlad in order to conquer
Essentially, you would have no pressure in conquering this, but you can do it if you want. So, and unlike other regions, of course, it doesn't have all of the staples. It doesn't have artifacts. It doesn't have. It has the encampments, but it doesn't have. If I recall correctly, I don't think it has. No, actually, it has totems, but it doesn't have the Ubisoft Towers equivalent. Instead, you have the fast traveling points at the corners of the map. And to answer a question that I think you were asking at some point, Jova, no. If you go to the spot where Torvin was, he's not there. Talion never got the chance to say hello again to his friend.
That is honestly a massively missed opportunity. Like, I get it, maybe not have story significance due to the nature of DLC, but come on, at least keep Torvin there.
We have a captain already in the beginning, and it's another bard.
Wonderful.
So,
well, maybe he'll play us a song.
Well, let's find out. First of all, let me get some intel on him first.
By possessing this guy right in front of him.
Yeah, like remember, the guys labeled in green are the worms that can give you all the intel that you need on a captain of any kind. This guy is relatively powerful, actually, especially because it has the epic trait. So we'll have to work him up a bit before recruiting him. Nevertheless.
You run so fast, but let's make it last. There's no more fun under the sun than this.
Man, where were these types?
Not a bad singing voice, actually.
You and your clipping guitar.
Man, where were these orcs during the original trilogy?
The climate was a bit, not as jovial.
I guess.
So
you have to remember that the previous game and these are a sort of a transitional piece. Mordor was experiencing still, a bit of torment, but regardless, it was a more moment of peace than anything compared to the previous wars.
I swear, bonus points if this guy sings even when he's under your control.
Technically, yes. Unfortunately, we will not be able to see much. Mostly because, of course, I did not wanted the risk to actually, lose him. So I did not want to engage him in arena combat and just kept him on my side. He would be present in the first line during the siege. Don't worry.
I was gonna ask that.
Oh God, does he sing as he dies?
Again, all of his line of dialogue are sung. Jesus Christ, he's gonna power slam.
Damn. Orc wrestling.
Yeah. There are also power bombs, if I recall correctly, but it depends on how they trigger. But again, all of the lines are, you know, songs. So the ones when he's about to die, even the ones if he's supposed to be an overlord where you have to go up against, he will have lines for that when he shows up on the top of a tower to do
Beautiful.
it. You know?
In that regard, like, so in regards to keeping him safe, are there ways that you can ever interact with orcs that are under your command without risking them in battle? Like, is there, like, you know, an idle mode or some?
You can. Okay, first of all, you can actually find them if you track them with the nemesis system because they tell you where the location might be on the map. Or if you assign them as your bodyguard, you know, they just show up at your command. But if they stay idle for a while, they're only very rarely. They might have one line or two. It's not really much, to be honest, and, you know, not used a lot.
So there's definitely nothing convenient, per se, if you wanted to get all their lines. It'll be more about, you've just got to play with them as much as possible and hope they don't die.
The major thing with this game, Jova, is just enjoy the moment and get what is thrown at you.
If nothing else, you can.
The song will never end.
Yeah, that.
Sure.
I can only imagine how insane they'd sound if you shame them or derange them. That's what I'm calling the super version.
I never actually tried.
At the very least, you can sing rousing songs to the troops.
Yes, Pedro?
And now I'll take away your bending.
It does look like that motion. But yeah, speaking of which, yeah, I guess a good way of calling the super shaming, as we saw in the last part, would probably be like deranging. So
it's called Warsman Death, technically the official labeling in your perk menu. But to be fair, the effects can be varied in how an orc actually goes deranged. Hold on, here's another case. I gain info on this guy. Just keep that in mind for a second, basically. The thing is that you will have examples of what can happen. So don't worry, Java. You will see different results of what can happen. There.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask. Like, I know you mentioned a lot of players don't like.
I calculate it's happening now. Yeah. Remember, I just gained intel on this guy and he was so pissed but he tracked me down.
Literally should appear right behind you. Stealthy for a guy that big.
It's not even like a tracker, he's supposed to be a berserker, like a very dumb muscular idiot.
He was very determined to find and kill you.
Sometimes the captains do have this specific trait, like, you know, if you gain info, you must die, so essentially they track you down like that.
And they must have a very good network to have found out that they've been ratted out.
Ow.
But yeah, like I was gonna ask, I know you say that a lot of players don't like to derange shows. Are we going to see you doing that more? And I guess
like
probably.
I said, you will see examples. I cannot guarantee that it will be all of them at disposal, but don't worry, it will work out.
I can only imagine the dauntless players who try to make those compilations.
It's easy video game cruel potential. It has the same vibe of the GTA player who doesn't give a single shit and mows down, you know, pedestrians with a car all the time.
You stole my favorite singer from me.
Kinda.
So what was that?
But yeah, what I was going to say was I can only imagine how daunting it must be for the types of content creators who like to make compilations of all different potential dialogues or bits from a game like this.
That really depends. Like I said, it's similar to what I did for recording this game. It's just a matter of sitting there for 4 or 5 hours a day for a while, you know, recording basically the raw material of this, and then essentially in editing, slicing up the finest parts.
I'm not talking about editing it. I'm talking about like actually getting the footage
Again,
for all this
just
stuff.
free roaming for a couple of hours while you're doing something else, like farming in a gacha in the meantime or something like that, to keep you occupied. It's very easy to do.
I guess so. I mean, granted, this playthrough is edited down, but with how lengthy the playthrough is, I feel like we still haven't even scratched the surface of how.
Like you said, Joe, very serious. Like you said, very stuff that I couldn't manage to trigger myself. So yes, very stuff that I couldn't get it despite everything. But I can tell you, very still also a lot of stuff that you haven't seen that it's not really particularly important because it's, for example, very basic. Uruks or potentially a repeat of something that I already encountered.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Like, I'm strictly talking about somebody who's trying to get, like, all different unique types of dialogue, but,
it really depends. You know, it's more of a case of, you know, replay the game from time to time, you know.
Again, the usual system with these games seems to be you come for the story and lore, but you stay mainly for the Nemesis system.
Yeah, basically.
And to give him credit, while I feel a bit iffy on the story, the lore expansion to Jackson's trilogy is remarkable.
It's just more the unfortunate way it's presented, you know, essentially, yeah, there you go, in you essentially enslaving the entire orc population of Mordor or anything, so they also had to give you, you know, a set of protagonists with not exactly a pristine moral compass, to justify that. Again, I'm just guessing the Wonder Woman game, if we will ever see something about it, you know, will actually probably have a more gentle way to do this kind of thing.
Like I said, my best guess is like, oh, playing into Diana's compassionate nature, it'll be more like her redeeming these lost
Possibly
souls.
with the lasso of truth. Sorry, I'm gone in a flash or something. Yeah, let's go with that. Like I said, also the region is also full with you know, there you go, chain slaves. And if you free them, they won't attack you. You know, if you attack them, they will start attacking you, of course. But their first priority in terms of AI is to attack also their, you know, their oppressors. So they're actually good for a distraction.
Makes sense.
Ow. Basically, what I'm doing in this part, instead of, you know, doing anything, you know, particular of the side stuff that is actually available, is just doing the basics of recruiting, you know, as many captains as I can, particularly fuck.
This is why we practice, lads. It's not always a false alarm. Sometimes it's the tar.
Nice to see you're so prepared.
I mean, I guess that's its job being a tracker. The next two parts instead will be dedicated to finish whatever side stuff is remaining, particularly, you know, the missions of the past, where you control Celebrimbor and showcase, but it was so great in doing stuff. But technically speaking, we're basically at the end of the game. This is also still optional stuff. After dealing with the quest line of Bruce, we're basically done and we can technically get to the end of the game.
So Celebrimbor stuff is actually part of the main game this time.
Well, it is part of the main game, but it's still technically optional. They're the kind of, you know, ranked challenges that give you bronze, silver, and gold in terms of ranking, with associated rewards for that. They're technically optional, you know, but you do get good stuff if you complete them, so you might as well do that.
And as for the final DLC, remind me, where are you placing that?
You will see that after the events of the main game. Again, you will see that in due time. Also, this is getting a bit too crowded for my taste.
Oh, bloody God!
Again, it doesn't help that this guy is... There you go, he's a defender, so let's just unleash the Fury mode.
You son of a bitch, I'm in!
Still with the arrow sticking in his body.
You make a very convincing argument.
I mean, there's a good pension plan.
Yeah, not dying by Talion sword.
Yeah. Instead I can die by my own old mate's sword.
Although to be fair, I think with the way the last two games have gone, it's shown that the life expectancy of an orc is much better when they fall in line with Talion rather than against.
basically.
Although I do wonder, we know that some can break free and don't like it, but I wonder if some actually grow to legit like working for Talion.
The only one, the only example that we got was at the end of a previous part with
Ratbag.
Ratbag. You know, after all we've done, Ratbag genuinely feels Talion as a good friend. He even goes to call him Bright Lord out of respect for the fact that, you know, he saved his friend. If it wasn't for the accident with Bruce, you know, things could have gone potentially a bit better, alas.
I like to believe that he made it out fine and like is one of the, you know, one of the nice orcs. He
For
was able to
reference,
settle down.
in case you don't know, the official conclusion to the orcs and goblins for the Middle Earth peoples after the Pit of Sorn is that they migrated again to the mountains and tentatively never bothered again the other species of Middle Earth and stayed there.
Oh, did they move into where the dwarves used to live?
Not necessarily. The orcs and goblins always had a big presence in a couple of the mountains, not all of them. You know, but at least the mountains, for example, in the far northeast location, which those were never territories occupied by the dwarves. You know, sometimes we just, you know, skedaddled into invading them. But
I'm in the middle of something. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm always happy to gut the grave.
I'm flattered.
How nice, you know me.
Ranger.
Oh, riveting.
Well,
Long
that's
soliloquy, then just die, Ranger.
Is on to the point. I mean, I can understand and respect that.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone has the time for grandiose speeches.
yeah, that's one thing I kind of wish you could do in this game. While the enemy gives his like insulting speech to you, why not just kill him mid-sentence?
It's more chivalry than anything, Glibs.
Chivalry? They're trying to kill you.
It's the same logic that applies to a Mahou Shoujo transformation sequence, or a Super Sentai robot assembling sequence. You know.
Well, Dwebs,
That
just because someone is uncourteous to you, that doesn't give you the excuse to be uncourteous as
But what if they're trying to kill me?
Well, then kill them back. Now, but do it in a courteous way. You know?
Yeah, do you mind if I snap your neck? Thank you.
Exactly. Or you could do like I'm trying to think like there's a good amount of British heroes that do like kill in a classy way. But
Here I thought the stereotype was
If
supposed
anything,
to be...
Pedro is kind of the opposite. A lot of the bad stereotypes when it comes to the Britons was that the Romans felt so entitled, you know, and saw them as savages. So there is that unfortunate stuff.
Well, I've got one for you, Pedro.
Bond, yeah, I heard you.
Yeah, James Bond. Yeah, exactly.
You know, honestly, I know the stereotype is that the Brits are polite, but every day it seems like Dwibs is trying to single-handedly destroy
No, if anything, the pendulum is swinging the other way.
Yeah.
Well,
Considering all the stuff I've
oh no,
seen
we've
news.
got. Honestly, we've got plenty of stereotypes.
I mean,
Oh,
just
yeah,
just look at the mere fact that for, you know, basically what Warhammer coined, that for orcs and goblins they deliberately just choose the stereotype of hooligans, which is, you know, extremely British.
And I guess to be fair, while some may say the Brits are all nice, there is also the thing that Brits make for a dashing villain, to the point where even a car commercial pointed out, why do British people make for such good villains?
Which is funny because, you know, it's funny because when it comes to the British villain, a lot of times it wants to be put in the more Victorian era, but usually around the time, for a couple of decades, particularly the 60s and the 70s, you know, it was more associated to the French, particularly the French jerk stereotype.
I will say this, while the movie may have sucked, I gotta give Now You See Me
He has a
Too...
prosthetic arm.
Of course he does. I gotta give Now You See Me Too credit for giving us the deliciously villainous British scene of Daniel Craig and Michael Caine drinking tea while drowning their victims.
Of course.
I actually haven't showed those movies to Deji yet. I'll show them at some point.
I'm not particularly interested in seeing those.
don't worry, too.
Is there supposed to be a third movie in development or not?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, I forgot
Well,
about
it's been a
that.
while since the second.
Whoa,
I mean,
we got a
like Jesse
Kiss fan
Eisenberg-
here.
Well, it's not like Jesse Eisenberg has anything else going on, does he?
Anyway, it's another case, Jova, where the warship has been ratted out because I brainwashed all of his bodyguards. Case in point. Again, for orcs of this kind of stature, they're reduced basically at the end of the earth, which makes them super easy to either kill on the spot or mind control.
Well, hey, now you guys can be friends again. We're reuniting you.
There you go.
I mean, you were able to literally take a backstab to the gut, so you must be good for something.
You dominated Ratak the Punisher.
Oh
Yes.
my.
That actually reminds me of something similar, but as well, it's not really like it's gonna make too much data depart, considering when it's probably gonna get published. But I don't know if you noticed, but probably because of an error, because it was supposed to happen, I think, a bit later. Very recently, Batman Arkham Knight got updated by getting a new costume based on the Batman suit.
Which is nice, but that's kind of a year late, ain't it?
Not just a year late after
No,
the
but here's the
movie.
big kicker, though. It's
on.
exclusive to the Epic Games Store.
Okay, that I didn't know, actually.
You were about to say, Tio?
Well, to be fair, considering it was kind of an accident, maybe it's supposed to be global and it just happened, because from what I understand, it's supposed to be coincide with the Switch release of Arkham Knight, apparently. So maybe it's a thing that when it happens, they're gonna be available everywhere else, and the Epic Games Store just dropped the ball a bit earlier.
I
which
would
wouldn't
hope
surprise
so.
me.
The sad thing, though, is that knowing Epic, it could potentially also be that
Okay,
it's
I
exclusive
really
there.
find failing to picture teams winning, demanding this specific very thing for a free update for a game that many people have just basically left behind.
You'd be surprised too. You'd be surprised. Like, remember, like, us Sonic fans, we had to get our Amy skin for Superstars under very specific circumstances, unlike the Epic Store crowd.
Hell, it may have been
Oh, I
the
get
case for
it,
Sonic
but-
Superstars as a whole, since you apparently need to link your Epic Game Store's account to play
yeah,
Sonic Superstars
I'll
on
explain
PC
that.
No, I
without...
get that, but the
I'll
game,
explain that in a moment, go ahead.
but in comparison, the game just got released, relatively soon. I'm
Sure.
talking as if Unleashed got an update with a, an alternate costume for Sonic out of nowhere. That's what I mean.
As for why they would do that...
That would require Sega to care about Sonic Unleashed.
Okay,
That's what I mean. That's the kind of difference.
my
But,
best guess as to why they would have done this is because they see an opportunity with Arkham Knight, because for those who don't recall, Arkham Knight was a flippin' mess when it first came to Steam.
Betrayal now available.
Warner Bros. Has a track record of not making good PC port for a very long while, and potentially still today.
So my
But,
best
yes,
guess would be...
I'm doing another betrayal of this kind. Go on, Joe.
So my best guess would be that now that I guess Arkham Knight is a lot better processed on PC, Epic want to go, well guys, now we have the definitive PC version, come over to us. And like Epic have had a history of doing even the most minuscule and petty things, but still doing it just to bump it up so that, of course, the best way to play it on PC is with Epic.
Alright, this guy doesn't go down that easily, so I have to actually face him.
It's sort of like a death by 1,000 cuts sort of strategy, wherein
Enraged by
it's-
cowards.
Yes.
Remember, when an orc or an Olo guy says this, it's best if you actually kill them or control them, because otherwise if you fail them, all the people that you infiltrated will be executed as a result.
Well, shoot, he's a man of his word.
So you better make your work count.
But yeah, like I was saying,
one-
Epic's strategy is like a death by 1,000 cuts, and where they do teeny little tiny bits, but little by little, it all snowballs into stuff where people go, hey, wait, Epic seems to have the better versions of these PC games.
Yes, Pedro?
One thing I should explain, by the way, now that we have a more proper details. Like, keep in mind, this is based on what people have surmised, mind you. But apparently, Jova, the main reason why there's that Epic Store login, Epic account login required is for the online mode, because apparently there's crossplay between both Steam and Epic. And so apparently you can. I haven't gotten the PC version yet. Apparently you can just deny the creation of an Epic account, and the game will just allow you to do the single player stuff on its own. So
Oh yes,
that's
you
at the very
can.
least better.
For
But it
mine,
will always ask you every time you turn on the game.
exactly.
And it's required if you want to play online.
I've been starving them for days.
Look at that one.
Another infiltration.
So, what are your
I don't know if I want to recruit this guy or not.
so what are your favorite type of orc operations to you?
Okay, in terms of, you know, efficiency and everything, execution, because essentially they can provide me a recruit because, you know, very easily, because they have
Nothing to lose by joining you.
no, not just that. The orcs that are about to be executed are in low health to begin with, so that you can just immediately gain control of them. You know, it's another case depending on, you know, the kind of executioner. But ideally, any scenario can be just as entertaining. It's more depending on the pieces on the board rather than the board itself. Although if I had to guess, maybe the betrayal missions, because essentially you and the people you infiltrated literally ganking up onto a warship. Ratting them out normally are the missions where you have to rat them out normally are more of a pain, because you have to properly infiltrate in the fortress, which is very heavily guarded. Do a particular, you know, risky side objective like killing a lot of people inside or killing specific targets. You saw that me doing something like that, for example, in the Desolation of Mordor DLC. And at that point, the warship will come out, and it's not even a guarantee that you will manage to potentially recruit him. Maybe you will be forced to kill. Maybe you will have also his bodyguards. It can be potentially too much of a mess. Instead, I prefer to, you know, be methodical and get a clean job of everything. It's not always possible because, like I said, it can happen potentially that some bodyguards will have the trait of they show up only along with the warship, so I cannot actually infiltrate enough people to cause a majority so that they can, you know, cause a betrayal mission. Alas. There you go. Also, this guy still has a javelin stuck in his arm.
On my way, sir.
That looks like it hurts.
Congratulations, you've got a prowler.
Oh boy, it's not even a shiny. That does remind me. Okay, I know this question has been probably asked by the fandoms too much, but I forgot if the anime ever tackled the idea that, you know, Pokeballs are essentially mind control for the Pokemon.
That's the thing too. There's I mean, it's kind of like with Pikmin. Hold on, maybe I will.
No, don't worry, it's just an arena encounter. I get what you mean, but it's one of those things that it's probably best to not ask those questions, I guess.
It's like with Pikmin, like if you take a look at Pokemon objectively, and I don't mean objective as in like quality, I mean in terms of looking at things in a very pragmatic, logical manner, you'll realize that there's a lot of fucked up shit in the way the Pokemon world is set up.
What,
so...
Pedro? You're telling me that if I found a 10-year-old, you know, a 10-year-old girl with a Rattata, you know, I illegally cockfight, you know, her beast, destroy her, and steal half of her money, and I'm actually supposed to be the good guy?
It's like that. It's like that Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel. It's like that Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links meme of Kaiba yelling to a 5-year-old girl. You're a great duel to a 4th grade deck.
Yeah, but no, that's the thing. It's not even just that, it's also the fact that we can literally get into multiple times where there's a scenario about a fully grown adult making fun of a 10-year-old and proceeding to beat him or her in a match of this thing, and then laughing if he or she wins.
That sounds like something Kaiba would do.
Not to mention the fact that, you know, 10-year-olds are responsible for, you know, thwarting away the plans of evil organizations that want to take over the world or destroy it. But again, I know that it's a staple of RPGs to do that, but usually in order to balance that out, the protagonists tend to be at least late teens or young adults potentially, you know. So having instead specifically 10-year-olds being able to like defeat people like Giovanni, you know, or the leader, or you know, Gastis.
Too. Forget 10-year-olds. How about the fact that we also have occasional moments where we see 5-year-olds get into Pokemon battles, like for example those two twins in Bugsy's gym. You know,
guys. Red pretty much disbanded a criminal organization when he was only 10.
And this is why Red is so awesome.
Oh yeah, obviously, but
And okay.
And like I said various times, I have like there's a lot of buildings meant for Pokemon in this world, but not a lot for humans.
Yeah, I mean, what if a human gets
variety.
injured? Yeah, what if a human gets injured? He doesn't get to go a Pokemon Center.
Well, according to the
I think,
anime
so.
libs, there is that one episode of that stupid, incompetent doctor who runs an entire hospital on his own somehow, and I don't understand how that even works.
You know,
I'm pretty sure that.
The Rusty Pokemon series sort of made a joke that if you put a human into a Pokeball and just put them through the Pokemon Center machine, it will cure them, even cure their ulcers or cancer, potentially.
It's like, I love that bit in that episode where I forgot his name. Does he ever have a name? I don't think they ever give him a name. Where the doctor literally tells Misty, Ash, and Brock to put in some medical outfits to help him. Saying, sorry, hold on.
No, go on, Pedro.
And he even says, "Oh, we're lacking in medical staff, so you guys have to help." They're like, "How exactly is your hospital still open then? How?" Like, it's just like, no wonder the entire world revolves around Pokemon. If you're just a human who doesn't care about Pokemon, you're pretty much fucked in this world.
Already, the economy is already questionable, to say the least.
I know, right? It's like the economy. It's like the Canadian economy in South Park, where most of the Canadian economy revolves around Terrence and Phillip.
Actually, I forgot. I didn't even bother to actually, check in details. What is the currency of a Pokemon World supposed to be being called? Because it has a unique symbol on its own.
Yeah, probably just like the not yen.
It's not yen. It's not dollars. I'll have to check.
It's whatever. It's money.
It's Pokedollars.
It's kind of like when Street Fighter, this I had to explain. After dealing with Bruce, he will have 2 brothers that will start stalking you.
Oh, he gets 2 brothers. How nice.
You think you can terrorize and torture your way across Mordor and no one will take it?
You guys are really one to talk.
Ends good and proper.
Sure, mate. So yeah, and since all of them are Ologai of high level, I'm kind of fucked and I need to actually get out of the situation very fast. But go on.
Or shame them to de-level them.
No, it's.
Oh, you can do that, Jova. Don't worry. Go on.
Okay. No, that's exactly it. The economy of the Pokemon world revolves around all the Pokemon. Again, I'm still surprised we don't have the Pokemon equivalent of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 movie, where a kid gets shamed for not caring about Pokemon and just wanting to go to school.
I mean, to be fair,
there is actual examples of people that don't want to be trainers and are perfectly okay with that. But I forgot if there are any specific important name character or not.
Well, Ash's mom, for starters, is not a trainer. Like Professor Oak himself
Wasn't
is.
it the case where she was in her youth but stopped doing that or something?
I do not recall us ever hearing word about that. Like, okay, to get Pokemon credit, there are, I'd say, a fair number of people who are perfectly fine not being Pokemon trainers. Heck, especially when we got stuff like around Gen 3, we really got a lot of people who were just, normal folk.
Well, Pedro, you're giving me my next fanfic idea. A human gets injured during a Pokemon battle, and since Pokemon centers aren't exactly equipped for humans, they just have to do their best, and
or again, put the P.
I'm guessing during the Battlefield tournament, you can count, not being proper duelists in general as Peroba's brothers, I suppose, like siblings, I guess.
Well, actually, you just reminded me of that one scene too in the Battle City series where. When the duelists start invading the entire city, there's 2 old men who are questioning, what's going on? And they're like, hey. And then the teenagers are like, hey, old man, get out of the way. The duelists are going to take over the city for the tournament and shit. And then there's even a moment when Yugi starts battling the rare hunter and the old men who are still watching are going, what is that? And then and then they make some kind of boomer comment about what the hell that is thing, and then the other guys just explain, oh, that's an hologram. The dual disc manages to project the cards in 3D and shit, and they're like, oh. So there is that. Actually, that's the thing. That would be basically the reverse of that hospital episode that I mentioned, where that's literally it. Because the Pokemon Center is too full of Pokemon, they have to. Nurse Joy asks this medical human doctor to take care of the Pokemon, even though he doesn't have any kind of training in doing so. So this is not really a good idea. Shame?
Again, you still can shame also all the Bruce's brothers, and they will have their own version of actually going insane. Yes.
Our hero, ladies and gentlemen, shaming his opponents.
Well, it gets even worse than that, but for the
I like how.
Wow, what's he gonna do next? Do the ultimate show and say, "Your mother never loved you."
I love how the music always gets drowned out and droney whenever you're Shane.
It's supposed to represent just how fucked up it is as a thing.
Firewater? Isn't that the name of an alcohol?
Yes, the grog.
Fuel to the orcs. To us, it is
It's very flat. In the words of Mark Hamill, Drova, it looks flammable.
It would be like
conquering a fortress.
it would be like naming a material rock air.
To be fair, okay, that was also one of the potential definition of Greek fire, which had liquid properties, and because of that, it could not be extinguished that easy. So there is that.
Not to mention there's but that's the thing, that believe it or not, that's not even the worst of that episode. The worst of that episode is that let's just say the way that Doctor is written would not fly in today's day and age, because
let me guess, he's constantly hitting and or trying to inappropriately touch Nurse Joy or something.
Yeah, no, he's not trying to touch. To be fair, he doesn't touch anybody, to be fair, but he's constantly hitting on Misty, who is a minor, let's remember that. And he also takes the moment where Nurse Joy asks him to help to hit on her by asking her out. Same thing with Jesse. That guy is a fucking creep. And to be fair, even the episode is aware of it, because they have Brock say, I don't like this guy, he's too much like me.
Jesus.
So yeah, that episode, much like the Kangaskhan episode, that's one of those older Pokemon episodes that would never fly today.
It's weird because Deji told us that Saperi was supposed to be social commentary for, for how Japanese hospitals are handled, but considering the extra baggage, yeah.
I mean, if that was the case, I appreciate the effort, but I'm not entirely certain if Pokemon is the right franchise to put that in.
Essentially, I managed to write out the war chip. It's like what I said before. In this case, I was
But cough. Oh.
Yoink. I still have someone infiltrated. It's just a matter of actually rotting them out.
Yes, master!
Goodbye.
Watch your back, Rain!
And this immediately makes his
I guess he
bodyguards
coughed out of that one.
terrified. Oh no, you're not getting away. Neither you. So which one do I have to get first? Eeny, meeny, miny.
These people are scaredy cats.
I mean, I am the knight or something. I guess that works out.
Pretty much. It's pretty much
Also,
either...
that orc just clipped and walked through them. But,
yeah.
You're ghostly!
And the sad part... Join me, or Asuka.
Go on, Pedro.
The thing is, but it's not even just that. It's also the fact that the guys are, even outside of the problematic aspect, the guy's a fucking asshole because he gets these kids who have no experience medical Pokemon or otherwise, and then you even scold them when they don't do that well. Well, no shit,
What were you
Sherlock.
expecting?
What were you expecting? Like, that entire episode, like, if you actually take a good moment and just watch it, like, by today's lenses, it's just all kinds of naff. Like,
It was,
It really is a statement of how baffling to me the Pokemon anime was, that instead of, trying to at least stay relatively lenient to the events of the game, trying to meander with these kind of side episodes that really just felt like nowhere.
If that episode was ever part of that novelization of the anime from the original guy in charge of it, I dread to think what it would have been like.
I don't know if there is Dwaves, but Deji has been scouring, for example, through the mangas adaptation of the games, written by the same person, and from what he's told us, they're not that flattering, I'll just say that.
You don't say.
It's like, that being said, don't worry, it will probably never get as bad as the Kangaskhan episode, because that's still by far like the low point of these episodes. Like, oh my god.
I think that my guy is not gonna make it.
No, I think he's with a chance.
Well, okay, maybe if he acts now, but he's dizzy. Come on. Yes, he makes it! What an underdog. Even scores a decapitation. Way to go. That's why you get infiltrated. To be fair, that's the entire point of these places, we are to prove their valor. Essentially, when it comes to this fortress, I'm essentially doing all of the cleanup, like all of it, like all of the warships destroyed and replaced, and the Overlord with a couple of spies infiltrated.
How brave you are when I pulp your skull.
Alright. Unfortunately, these guys are relatively agile, so... Come on. Even as a peg leg. Is there a pirate or something?
Yes, I believe that is.
Well, he was.
It is, he was. He was a pirate amongst the orcs.
Yeah, I don't think I can find anything on Steam about the Batman outfit for Arkham Knight.
Like I said, they did pull it out very soon after people found it.
It is possible that
they could have been doing that to save face after the leak.
Well, again, Drova, it's just a case of popping up early. It happens all the time when it comes to leaks.
Oh yes, I'm agreeing with you.
There any
on one platform.
out there?
Yeah. All right. Fight!
It also reminds me of another thing. By the time we're recording this, Insomniac Spider-Man 2 came out recently, and people did found a particular bug where Peter's model is replaced with a cube, which actually was pretty cute, but they actually patched it out. I kind of wish they made it official.
Yeah.
Kind of like the tofu mode for Resident Evil 2.
Or like how Halo Infinite eventually immortalized Craig.
They could have made it an outfit.
I get the idea it might have been a cause potentially with licensing, so they might have had their hands tied, because it is the kind of thing that Insomniac would use as humor.
You would license a cube.
Well, no, more in a case of maybe, people at Marvel Comics or God for... Again, does Avi Arad have any influence over the games in some capacity? Like,
I hope not.
I don't know.
Because he would be the kind of guy to say, no, we cannot have that. There we go. On 2. Basically, I'm preparing all my pieces on the board before launching the assault, so we're gonna stay in the arena for a while.
You better not underestimate me. I want a good fight.
Sure.
Alright.
So I kill you now, do I?
Apparently.
I'm pretty sure
Yes.
that's the idea. I love how he legit put a trap right there that is in plain sight. It's like genius. Truly genius.
Politely asking you to step on it. What is that gesture? My guy has a bit of a disadvantage in this case because he's a javelin tosser, so he's a bit more fragile, while the guy loves to, you know, is one of those glass cannons that do all physical attacks. So it's more of a case of trying to keep the distance. That's why also the traps are for. The problem is that, again, moving very in an agile kind of way doesn't work all the time. Just stand still. There we go.
Oh, that's a knockout.
Ooh! Just
Oh!
jumped away from an explosion.
KO! I love how as part of his
Hey.
victory is him getting up from being knocked out by his own explosion.
It's more like he's jumping away from the explosion. We officially entered Michael Bay territory.
You know what it reminds me of? The animated movie of Lord of the Rings, which, yeah, the Ralph Bakshi film, which literally has a
There's
point
Aragorn tripping.
in dramatic slow motion.
Rotoscope the tripping.
It was just, I get it. I get why they may have kept that in, but I'm sorry. It's just so goofy, and the slow motion only makes it sillier, because we're supposed to
Also
take that
the epic
serious.
music, because, you know, it's supposed to be the scene in the two towers where they're chasing away, you know, chasing, you know, the groups of Uruks. There we go. These were actually very easy. Fatality.
Yeah, seriously. I wonder if Warner Brothers took a few cues from the.
Well, more like Monolith being fans. We have already seen a couple of references to Mortal Kombat, and it's not a secret that Warner Bros. Published games tend to self-reference our products constantly. So there is that.
Fair game.
Think you're tough, eh? We'll see about that.
That actually reminds me of something tangential to an extent. I know that over the course of the decades, the Looney Tunes had a couple of shorts that directly parodied a couple of Warner Bros. Property, like the Scarlet Pimpernel, for example, which had an equivalent. I'm surprised that they never had, you know, a skit that parodied Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Considering how much Warner Bros. Loves to, you know, parade that they possessed it recently. It kind of would fit, you know. The Simpsons made it possible to have a good parody segment of that.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's always that moment in Ready Player One where they start spotting Shining trivia for no reason.
And they have to enter also the actual Overlook Hotel.
Sometimes I'm half convinced that Ready Player I'm convinced that the director of Space Jam 2 kind of forgot that Ready Player 1 was actually the Warner Brothers advertisement movie.
It might have
Actually,
been
that's a good
executive
point.
meddling on that.
Actually, that's a good
eventually.
point. Well, did they have any Shining references in Space Jam?
I think Jack Torrance shows up in the crowd assisting the game. I think.
then.
It's a bit hard to check because, you know, there's so much stuff
Oh,
there,
sure.
including.
No, I saw the Coca-Cola shows because like the Droogs were literally like literally front and center. You couldn't really miss them.
They
I
even
didn't
have
see anything
again
Shining.
stuff like Kong from the MonsterVerse that they have, which is already kind of risky because it's more of a temporary license kind of thing. So I don't know.
Mission complete.
Alright, I think only a couple of more. Yeah, I think a couple of more infiltrations and then we're good to go. But trust me, dweebs, when I say this, when it comes to Ready Player One, the book was even worse on that. I'm talking about basically the most, how can I say in the nicest way possible, you know, the most juvenile kind of referential type of dialogue ever in terms of
I think I've read a few excerpts from
almost
it.
a reference per sentence, mind you. You know, I'm a person that normally loves, you know, kind of referential humor, dialogue, and stuff like that. Again, I like the character of Xiaoyu in Namco Cross Capcom, despite the fact that she's basically like that. You know, I understand, you know, that it can reach to some ridiculous degrees. But the book version of Ready Player One goes that extra mile that makes you think it was written by someone who watched back in the mid 2000s Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny and thought, you know what, we need a AAA budget, you know, adaptation of this.
For real.
Yeah. It's the same reason why, like I said, I'm not particularly, you know, impressed by stuff like Fortnite or in themselves to have important character franchise, you know, as a promotional crossover kind of event. But to be fair, that's more in an official capacity. I'm also not particularly a super fan of even, you know, some particular fan content on that, even if it's technically harmless, you know, like stuff like Death Battle. I'm really not to that.
Ah, Death Battle. They can have some great animations,
right,
but not the best
time.
logic.
Free frame!
Oh, gotta love those.
It was just another reminder of telling me that, you know, the capturing for is optional. But yes, I'm still gonna do it, game. Don't worry. And yes, like you said, I have everything set up. You know, everything as much infiltrated as possible and everything ready. So I'm not even need to invest that much.
And the bard majestically by your side.
I did it because I just knew that, you know, you probably would have enjoyed it. So I was like, okay, fine, let's do this.
I mean, you gotta admit, he looks epic and silly, the perfect combination.
Alright, let the battle begin. I surrender! Oh.
Damn.
I mean, that would probably be the smartest overlord.
But like I said, the overlord can potentially be backstabbing one of your spies during his intro speech, yes. Unfortunately, here's something the polar opposite happened. One of my spies got caught.
Oh.
I call myself a sneaky spy. I was going to cut him slowly, but I don't have the patience.
Are you gonna kick him off the ledge?
Well, before that, doing that, and then doing it.
Bled out? Well, he fell to his death as well, so...
And then he can do his speech.
So I guess there's like that risk when you put in a spy that they can get
it's
caught.
always a risk. You can prepare as much as you can, but you can still potentially have a risk.
Are there any way to, you know, affect the chances of it, or is it just strictly RNG?
Strictly RNG.
So so basically, if you have a mook you really like, don't put him in as a spy. Well
They
said.
killed our spy, you know.
Well, the spy was completely on his own. We have an entire army.
Yeah, it was expandable, technically. And yeah, because I've infiltrated every position possible, otherwise, basically getting here is a piece of cake. All the capture points are just there for the taking. I'm just basically strolling my way.
I love how this makes it look like an epic fail on the Overlord's part, as everything just immediately falls to crap.
Basically.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Were executed flawlessly.
Oscardo.
They never suspected my betrayal.
If you forgot again, every time you capture a point that is connected to a captain that you infiltrated, they will show up and tell you, I did a good job, Bride Lord.
Boss, how come we caught this one spy, but we haven't caught all these other ones?
They can do that one at a time, unfortunately.
Skill issue?
Yeah, skill issue, let's go with that.
Orcs aren't exactly the... that guy is running in place.
I keep
I
myself
know they're not the
in check.
smartest in the world, but yeah.
Charge!
basically. Celebrimbor always, after you capture a point, Celebrimbor always tells you where to go next if you don't have a clue, you know, from the HUD, even if it's very visible.
Man, imagine being the Overlord and just seeing this Talion guy speed running through your fortress like it's
Any
nothing.
percentage.
This could be a record.
Actually, that makes me wonder, has Terminal Montage done a video on this game?
No, it mostly does Nintendo-related games, especially from older generations. The closest thing he did in covering was Resident Evil 4 Remake recently.
I could have sworn he's done quite a bit of other non-Nintendo stuff, but...
Oh, non-Nintendo, yes, but I'm talking about, you know, more recent games, you know, when it comes to recent games, he mostly did relatively older stuff.
I could totally see him making a riffing video based off this game.
It really depends. This is also a licensed product, so again, the idea is more of out of his nostalgia when it came to, you know, playing on Super Nintendo. I get the idea, considering by the time we're recording this, the Super Mario RPG remake is about to come out. Maybe he's probably cooking something for that, considering he's a fanboy of Gino.
Yeah. He took...
Alright, we're almost done.
He took Sephiroth beating Gino relatively well. If by well you mean he made a video of Sephiroth absolutely slaughtering Gino and mourning his death, but, you know, it is a
Alright, let's get this over with. And with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spies. I don't know, guys. You can say that I might I have overkilled. I'd say that I just, you know, got precautions.
Bonus points if the spies kill him before he even gets down the steps.
I get to see the suffering in your eyes up close.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If it is pain you seek, then you're in luck.
Alright, let's kill him. Stop.
Well, you were about to get that, Wibbs, because watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5
What's going on here?
and 6.
Now we can actually start, and by that I mean you're getting.
Alright,
Beat him up.
guys, beat him up JoJo style.
Yeah, it's like that scene in part 5 where
What?
they're just kicking someone down and then Leone is just drinking wine and then joins in.
No, you work for me!
Says who? Oh shoot, and you know what, while we're at it, why don't we add these guys to our ranks too so they can get in by default
It's a party
dancing
for
on you.
everyone. I'll call it
win.
beaches for everyone.
We win by doing absolutely
He is
nothing.
legit getting swarmed.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, that was
Well done.
that was
well
a,
done.
Literally
you-
just put him in a corner.
Hey, congratulations, you caught one spy. Problem, you didn't
it's
get
like
all the
how
others.
It's like how I play Shaq Fu.
wow.
No, corner my opponents.
He didn't even reach you. He got default
This goes
danced
to
on
show
by
that
them.
hard work always pays off.
That it does.
Well, that wasn't anticlimactic.
That was super easy. Purely an inconvenience.
Convenience.
Oh, really?
Could you imagine if that's
This was
how-
way too easy then.
Boy, what would be his friend's reaction if he heard that Talion came here actually and just strolled through and took over the place in like the span of an afternoon?
By all technicalities, this is not even canon. You do get a trophy. They actually bother to actually add a set of trophies if you bother to go here with Talion and do the things ready to do here. So it's not even just for bragging rights. They actually give you an extra knick-knack. So there is that. This is also one of those regions that cannot, if I recall correctly, cannot be reconquered. So once you conquer on your own, you can keep it. And just for funsies, because I know that I just have to, let's promote the Bard as Overlord. Why not?
Oh. I will sing thee to thy victory.
It's the singing fortress where the word of the day is seduction.
I love Sesame Street.
Sure, why not? Anyway, tune in for the next part where, like he said, we started doing the missions of the past tied to Celebrimbor and see how good he was, apparently. See ya.
Alright.
Take care.